Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. The Greensboro City Council unanimously approved Juneteenth as a paid holiday for city employees. Councilmember Sharon Hightower presented the item during the July 21st meeting. On Friday, June 18, 2021, the city will suspend regular operations to observe this important occasion in our nation's history. Most people believe President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation freed all slaves. In reality, it was not until Union soldiers were able to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation that all black people in the South were freed. The Juneteenth holiday honors the date of June 19, 1865, when Union soldiers enforced the emancipation of slaves in Texas. The abolishment of slavery is a landmark event in civil rights history. Given Greensboro's connection to the civil rights movement, the city feels it is more than fitting to join the ever-growing list of governments and private employers to recognize Juneteenth as an official paid holiday. While slavery has been abolished, there continues to be significant gaps between whites and people of color in almost every indicator of success, including education, health, life expectancy, home ownership, employment opportunities, and criminal justice. The City of Greensboro accepts the challenge to play a major role in eliminating these inequities. By adopting Juneteenth as a paid holiday, the city is demonstrating it's 100% committed to meeting this challenge. The City of Greensboro has an interactive map available on the city's website to track neighborhood response to the U.S. Census. The interactive map is updated daily with response rates from the Federal Census Bureau. Each census tract is assigned a number identified by colored section of the map. Each color indicates the percentage of households in that tract that have already responded to the census. To determine which census tract you live in, simply type in your address in the box located at the top left corner of the map. To reveal the response rate for your area, click on the first icon at the top right corner of the map. Census data will continue to be collected until October 31st. Residents are encouraged to bookmark the link to the map and use social media to help spread the word about the census. Greensboro has done a great job responding to the census, but more action is needed to secure the city's share of federal funding for health care, education, housing, roads, and utility infrastructure. According to Make NC Count, the state could lose more than $16,000 in federal funding over a 10-year period for each resident who is not counted in the 2020 census. The public comments and public hearing phases have been completed for the proposed funding for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. The 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan includes programs and projects proposed for the next 5 program years, which runs from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2025. The annual action plan is considered the application for HUD funding and outlines how the city will use anticipated community development block grants, emergency solutions grants, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS funds, and funds for the Home Investment Partnership Act to address needs in Greensboro and in neighborhood home consortium member jurisdictions. The annual plan includes programs and projects proposed for July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. The city will submit the consolidated plan and annual report to HUD by August 1st. In an effort to help each of us improve our quality of life, the city developed a partnership with Cone Health to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Let's take a moment to check out today's News for Your Health.
1 in 4 Americans suffer from allergies. Don't let the things that contribute to your symptoms stop you from enjoying your activities. I am Dr. Rosalind Hicks, an allergist from Allergy and Asthma Center of North Carolina, a member of Cone Health Medical Group. Let's get started and talk about allergies. Allergies are the common cold. Very similar entities. They both consist of a lot of congestion, runny nose, sneezing. Typically with the common cold, you're going to have, starting out, a little more scratchy throat, sore throat, and often a little bit of fever. Both can have cough because of the postnasal drip, and you're going to feel a little lousy with the common cold, will run down, dehydrated, those kind of things. And then with allergies, it can be any time of year. Cold may be more common in the winter season, and allergies can be with exposure. You just mow the lawn, did you just take care of the cat or dog, did you just clean out the attic with lots of dust. So those are the things we think about to differentiate between a common cold and allergies. The common triggers kind of fall into two categories: indoor, outdoor, seasonal, or year-round. So in the spring, we think a lot about tree pollen, followed by grass pollen and weed pollen, and then we have dust, mite, cockroach, mold, which can be indoors and out, and then any kind of furried animal, dog, cat, gerbil, any of those. So clearly, if we're sensitive to the animals, then we shouldn't have animals, we shouldn't be exposed to them, but we can't really control completely pollen exposure. So if you go outside, if you're doing something involving that exposure, then wearing a mask if you have to mow the grass, wiping off your hands and feet, taking off your shoes before you walk through the house so you don't track the pollen through, minimizing the window being down as you ride down the road, and wiping off the cats and dogs when they come in from their walk so the pollen is not throughout the house and on the furniture, those kind of things. Well, of course, avoidance would be the biggest action that we could participate in to try to minimize symptoms, but side of that, adding medications to minimize the congestion, sneezing, runny nose. I'm a huge proponent of saline rinse, and so that's something easy that's not medicated. It's just salt water flushing out or clearing out the nasal passages so we can take away those allergens that we've been breathing in. I think it is very important to prepare for allergy season so that you can minimize your suffering and you don't have so much congestion and headache or disrupted activity. I like to encourage people to start their medications around Valentine's Day, and usually that'll minimize their symptoms and they can go into the allergy season ahead and symptom-free. It is important for individuals to think about allergy testing if they're having lots of symptoms, uncontrolled symptoms, they've tried multiple medications, or they feel like there's one specific thing that they're really interested in knowing that they're allergic to. And especially if you have upper and lower airway symptoms, if you're coughing and wheezing, then that has become quite the standard for management to consider allergy injections. And we need to know exactly what you're allergic to be able to put in your specific vial so that we can manage you with the injections if we have the positive testing available there. And in the situation where you may be food allergic, having allergy testing can be very informative to know what to avoid. Thank you for joining us. I hope all this information has been helpful to decrease your suffering from allergies. For more information, go to conehealth.com/wellness. I'm Dr. Rosalind Hicks.
Another street mural will dot the landscape of downtown Greensboro. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. The latest installment of downtown street murals will be displayed on Lindsay Street from Murrow Boulevard to Yanceyville Street. The mural, led by local artists Shayla Harper and Sunny Gravely Fouché, is titled Say It Loud. It is the third project approved through the city's pilot street mural program, overseen by Creative Greensboro, the city's Office of Arts and Culture. The City of Greensboro developed a process for artists to request consideration to install temporary mural projects on public streets. This program will not provide direct funding to support applicant costs related to the project. Artists will be asked to demonstrate past experience in successfully completing outdoor murals. Projects will also need to align to guidelines regarding materials used, mural location, and artwork suitability. Requests are reviewed by a street mural review committee, and responses will be provided as quickly as possible. The street mural program was created based on requests from the local creative community and in the spirit of similar creative expressions currently taking shape in other cities. For more information about the street mural program, contact Ryan Deal at 336-373-7998 or visit the city's website. Construction on the downtown Greenway continues to move forward along Murrow Boulevard, visible from Gate City Boulevard to Fisher Avenue. Extensive work is underway at Murrow and the Smith Street Bridge due to major repairs that will need to be done to the bridge to prepare it for the installation of the Greenway Trail to connect to Fisher Avenue. Completion is expected in October 2020. Original streetcar tracks and granite cobblestones were uncovered at the Summit Avenue Bridge going over Murrow Boulevard. Thanks to David Wharton and the Dunleith neighborhood, the cobblestones have been documented and preserved. The Al Lowe Boxing Club staff will offer free weekly Boxing 101 classes at the Lindley Recreation Center. Interested participants will meet from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Thursdays from August 6th to September 3rd. Registration is required. Some of the skills being covered include basic boxing stances, footwork, and how to throw a variety of punches. Participants will also learn to gradually build up stamina, strength, and endurance. The first offering of Boxing 101 will be hosted as a live stream on the Parks and Recreation Facebook page. All subsequent classes will be held virtually on Zoom. For more information, contact Brandon Free, Lindley Center's director, at 336-373-2930. To review the full list of virtual summer activities, visit the city's website. Several opportunities have been created to provide financial assistance to our small business community. Coming up after the break, we'll check in with the executive director of Piedmont Business Capital to learn about their support services. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Small businesses have been struggling to keep the doors open or in some cases have shut down as a result of COVID-19. The Black business community is not immune to these challenging times. Joining me now to tell us about the pandemic-related resources available for minority business owners is Wilson Lester. He is the executive director of Piedmont Business Capital. Hello, Wilson. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining me. So what is Piedmont Business Capital doing to assist minority businesses during the pandemic?
Right. So Piedmont Business Capital is a community development financial institution, and we have a deep concern for access to capital for all businesses. We particularly target women and minority-owned businesses. As that is demonstrated, those businesses have the hardest time gaining access to capital through mainstream lenders. So through our initiatives, we launched early on a small business continuity fund that helped protect businesses that may be in danger of closure permanently due to the state mandated closures to try to decrease the number of cases that we were having in Guilford County around COVID-19. So we deployed $400,000 in the month of April to businesses throughout our community. We had a diverse mix of businesses in that pocket of businesses we were able to support. Over 70% were either women or minority-owned businesses, so we were very happy about that. Additionally, we're working throughout the state of North Carolina with the NC Rural Center as one of 8 CDFIs deploying a $140 million fund called NC Rapid Recovery. We've been fortunate enough that the NC Rural Center has pointed quite a number of those loans that are in the Piedmont Triad in our direction. We have been working pretty hard to serve as many as we can, but we're currently deploying somewhere around $500,000 a month through that initiative. Additionally, we've been working with local foundations to create an additional corpus of capital that is available to small businesses in the market. We have some relationships that are creating about a $450,000 loan pool that'll be specific to businesses in Guilford and Forsyth counties. And of course, based upon our nature and the initiatives that we think are important, we have an ability to communicate and market our product well to women and minority communities so that there is an equitable share of those businesses taking advantage of the resource. So we're looking at having a strong year in penetrating capital in those markets that most need it.
That's very impressive, and it's good to know that you're directly connecting with the businesses who would need these funds the most. How do the businesses qualify for any of the assistance you just mentioned?
So they apply directly on our website. We have an online portal that allows them to put all of their demographic information on their business, all the vital statistics that we need to evaluate their business based upon performance. We are not currently funding startup businesses. We're focusing on businesses that have been established at minimum 10 months to a year. They can demonstrate a revenue in their business prior to the COVID-19 pandemic being a true challenge for commerce in our immediate region and throughout the country. But those are the main things that we see happening with those businesses right now.
Okay. And is there any training outside of the resources financially that you're offering to help businesses retool? I've seen where restaurants have turned into like little small marketplaces.
Right.
Any of that available?
Absolutely. So we were very fortunate this year when we secured the capital with the city of Greensboro to do the Small Business Continuity Fund. We wanted to offer that capital at 0% interest, which is kind of tricky to do with the different regulations on how lending practices should work in the state of North Carolina. So we were very fortunate that the United Way's Virus Relief Fund provided us enough capital to cover the interest cost for all of those businesses that took advantage of that program. And in addition to that, they provided us enough capital to add some short-term positions to our staff. So what we've done is we have 3 full-time entrepreneur coaches that are working, doing one-on-one business coaching, helping each individual business that contacts us via email or phone or happens to stop by the Nussbaum Center to inquire about how can I get some more supportive services for their business attached to an opportunity for capital. And we have really been able to support somewhere in between, I'd say 125 to 150 businesses over the last 4 months with taking advantage of the resources that we have in play and implementing some practices. Some of the tough truths about entrepreneurship, and definitely in times like this, there are some businesses that we've had to counsel on how to close that business. That is obviously not what we want for our community, but we do recognize that we're in an era where that's possible, and we want to be a go-to resource for those businesses to understand how they may be able to wind down to be prepared to start back up in the future.
And speaking of that, is there any indication of how many businesses would have to actually close their doors in the face of COVID-19?
Well, we know that there are several businesses in our portfolio, past portfolio, that have had to downgrade significantly, have moved from storefronts to at-homes and from doing business out of the home to solely online until maybe there's not an opportunity to do that business anymore. What will truly be an indicator for all of us is how our businesses persist 6 months post when this ends. The unpredictable thing, though, that we're now seeing is we really don't know when the horizon is going to come into view. So that data is forthcoming. I will say that we are working with a national agency right now to do some research on what's happening with small business, in particular minority business in the Piedmont Triad in Greensboro specifically, and look to have a report on that that'll provide a lot of context and inform our entire community on how we can best support small business coming in September.
Wonderful. Well, Wilson, it's always nice to see your agency hard at work and offering this financial aid, which is much needed for our small businesses, especially in our minority and women-owned business community. Thank you for stopping by. Do come back and give us updates on that study that you just mentioned so that we can keep our viewers informed.
Definitely, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for some useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. Due to COVID-19, the City Council is meeting virtually. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. City Council meetings usually take place on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building, located at 300 West Washington Street. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. Due to COVID-19 and health concerns related to the pandemic, plus the logistical challenges of creating a safe in-person experience, this year's North Carolina Folk Festival will take place virtually. The pre-recorded live performances will be streamed online the weekend of September 11, 2020. The virtual North Carolina Folk Festival will be produced in partnership with 7 Cinematics, the Emmy award-winning video, music, and streaming production company based in Greensboro. 7 Cinematics has streamed and broadcast notable performing artists such as the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jack White, Dead & Company, and Kanye West, just to name a few. The North Carolina Folk Festival and the Piedmont Blues Preservation Society recently announced plans to jointly present the Carolina Blues Festival as part of the Folk Festival in September. This partnership will be part of the virtual event. To learn more about the North Carolina Folk Festival, please visit the festival website. The North Carolina Folk Festival will continue to post updates on its Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first we have an important message regarding COVID-19.
Remember the 3 W's. Wear a cloth face mask covering, wait 6 feet from others, and wash your hands often. By working together, we can adjust to this new normal and continue to save lives.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. The Parks and Recreation staff is partnering with the fire departments to host the Greensboro Community Hose Down. This will take place from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays from July 28th to August 13th at various recreation centers. This pop-up spray ground is a free way for kids of all ages to beat the heat. A limit of 25 people will be allowed to play at one time with a rotation of every 15 minutes if capacity is reached. Visitors should stay 6 feet away from anyone who doesn't live in their household while they play. Participants are required to wear a face covering while waiting to go into the spray area. Event dates and locations are as follows. Tuesday, July 28th at Warnersville Recreation Center, Thursday, July 30th at Lindley Recreation Center, Tuesday, August 4th at Windsor Recreation Center, Thursday, August 6th at Lewis Recreation Center, Tuesday, August 11th at Leonard Recreation Center, and Thursday, August 13th at Peeler Recreation Center. For a full list of other summer activities, visit the city's website. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO Shoutout. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO Shoutout. This week's shoutout goes to Creative Greensboro. The Wolves of Ravensbrook by Sally Kinka is the winner of Creative Greensboro's 2021 New Play Project and Mark Gilbert Award. This will kick off the 19th annual Greensboro Fringe Festival. Playwrights throughout North Carolina submitted 17 plays for consideration. Sally Kinka is a Greensboro resident, professional playwright, director, performer, storyteller, and puppeteer. She specializes in drama therapy. As co-founder of the nonprofit ArtStream, Kinka runs a bedside drama and storytelling program at Duke University's Pediatric Oncology and Hematology Department and UNC's Children's Specialty Clinic. Please remember, as more places continue to open, wear your face covering, wash your hands often, and wait 6 feet apart. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro, and now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.